Catus Maximus, back at you with another review, this time with the Harbor Freight. They call these the dual drive ratchets. You have one standard size fixed beam ratchet and one dual flex head ratchet. These are 1/4 inch and 3/8 quick release, and they use a reversible ratcheting box wrench type of designs for a compact head. And let's just take a close look at both of these here. They're actually, as far as how they look, have a great fit and finish. I mean, they look perfect as far as, there's no defects or any kind of ugliness or, burr, anything that would seem like it was inconsistently manufactured. Even the boxes are nice, ground really nice and straight. And the same thing with this extra long handle. I would say this extra long handle is, I haven't measured it. It's like 16 inches. It's pretty darn long. Well over a foot. And the same thing, you have two flex heads. It's a nice, pretty strong design with nice thick beam or forks. And it's nicely tapered. It's small on the 1/4 inch and larger on the 3/8. One thing I'll mention is the flex head. They use spring, or a spring, a really high tension little spring inside there. And so the deal with these flex heads is they don't have the most tension or the most resistance on them. And tightening the screw only helps a little bit because these forks are so short and so thick it hardly causes them to deflect. You'll just end up stripping it out. The good thing is that they really won't wear out because it's a spring. As you work it, it's not like a washer or something that slowly becomes compressed like in other flex head type ratchets. So these should at least hold up over the long term. The reverse switch is actually pretty solid. It has a really strong dentant in it. And the anvil is stamped. It has nice centering. Whoop. You can really see that. So if we put that on there, we can listen. And you can see how the pawl dances around, or the switch dances around, so it's directly connected to the pawl. And you can just shine a flashlight right down into this crevice and actually see it. So it has a wide pawl with many teeth on it. So it looks like they made it about as strong as they could, considering how narrow the head is. Comparing sizes of the head, it's about the same thickness as an actual ratchet. This is a 15mm ratcheting box wrench, and the head is about the same thickness. So it is pretty significantly thinner than, say, what a standard ratchet would be, such as this. Quite a bit more compact. However, they do try to make up for it by having an increased diameter, so you can get a larger pawl in there and a bigger wheel. Let's look at it this way here. There you go. You can see, it's quite a bit bigger. People do talk about back drag, which is the resistance when it's backing up, and I would say it's moderate. Maybe a little more than some light ratchets, but it's not bad. A couple of things to note about these ratchets that does worry me a little bit is versus a ratcheting box wrench where there isn't a potential for a lot of load to be placed, even when you drop it, to wanting to pop out the centerpiece. This uses a similar design. Many of my previous reviews show that they use a press fit ring, which they do right here. I'm just not entirely sure. Actually, just checking, you can see this little red ring is loose. So this, I'm not exactly sure how they assembled it, but I would wonder if you drop it, or at least repeatedly dropped it, whether the anvil would have issues coming out. It may use the pawl to actually help capture it. So that would be the one worry, is because it uses a ratcheting box wrench design, but it has this protrusion, so when there's impacts on that. Although none of the reviews have shown that has happened. Generally speaking, these are a little pricey. I think off the shelf it's $50 for both of these ratchets. But they're made pretty well. So even though they're a bit pricey, really, for what seems like a small Harbor Freight ratchet, or not a ton of material there, they seem to be pretty well made. And they do advertise as them being chrome vanadium, of course. So there's another tool review for you. I really appreciate everybody watching and subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Catus Maximus out.